the nature of an antique home is quite a bit different than what we might see in more recent construction. In inspecting a structure of that nature, anywhere from the late 1600s through the early 1900s, having a complete understanding of the materials used and the tools used to prepare the materials is important. Early on, it was quite simply a little bit of stone, native timber, and a little bit of iron is what made the house go together. All other components were basically labor. There were no sawn materials to speak of. The builder had to produce it from trees, local trees he felled. There were some mills to produce some of the boards, but basically the early stuff was hand sawn and planed and adzed and squared with broad axes. Typically an axe somewhat like this one, perhaps a little bit larger, a broad axe would be used to square up a beam, and then for a finer finish, a house wright would take adze and bring it to a more smooth or finished surface. Understanding the nature of the tools and the nature of the materials is what should be looked for in a quality home inspection with an antique home. Starting with the foundation, commonly it was a stone foundation, usually local stone. There's a number of different places in Connecticut where we would see granite or brownstone used. Occasionally you'll see a brick foundation, or sometimes a stone and brick foundation. The bricks had their own characteristics, as they had to be handmade and were baked in a fundamentally crude kiln that was wood-fired. And understanding the nature and durability of those bricks is important. The mortar was another factor. Lime was a rarity, and what was available was limited generally to more finite areas of the masonry or plaster walls. Early on, it was just, in essence, a clay that was used, if any mortar, in the foundation of a house. As you get into the timbers, understanding early on the post and beam framing and the nature of construction and how the framing members were affixed to each other. Fundamentally, in the framing of a house, nails weren't used. The most common intersections in a post and beam framed house where post and beam framing was used, where mortise and tenon joints were used, and they would use a shaving horse to produce wooden pins that would hold the whole house together, simply because of the scarcity and value of iron.